All right, and we are live for number three. Just wait for some people to join.
Hello. Right, so just waiting for a few more people to join before we start our episode number three of Behind the Singer. Well, artist today, so jumping on.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Hey, Karma, how are you going?
I'm good. I'm very good. How's things?
I'm good. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Wales in the UK. The little,
Wales in the UK.
yeah, the little piece of the UK that everybody seems to forget about. Next door to England, separate country, very separate country. It's a big
I
deal
I
to
know
us.
what Wales. Yeah. Is it how many? What's the population there?
About
Wales.
3.2 million max, I think.
Damn.
It's
Okay.
yeah, it's really low.
Yeah, it's. I'm down in Australia, so it's pretty low here as well. Cool. Well, we're getting more people joining us, Karma.
Sweet.
So I quickly just introduce. So hey everyone, welcome to episode number three of Behind the Singer. My name's Ivan, and I've got a wonderful guest with me, Karma. He's an amazing artist, and if you check out his feed, his voice is insane. So make sure to check him
Thank
out,
you.
and I'll be having a good chat with him. So let's quickly start off. So for those who don't really know you, Karma, mind giving us like a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm 23 years old, singer-songwriter from West Wales, which doesn't really mean much to most people, but pretty much as far west as you can go before Ireland. Been singing professionally for 2 years now, but you know how since a young age I've had been a singer. Couldn't really say that I didn't sing before then. It was always something I've done and enjoyed.
You've
But
always
yeah,
done, yeah.
so yeah, just taking
Cool.
it a bit more seriously in the last 2 years though. So like that's where I've like focused it to my being a career.
Right. So is that like going out to do a bit more gigs,
Yeah. So I was
Instagram?
flown out to Cyprus last year, at the start of last year, last February, where I spent a season out in Cyprus singing in hotels, so entertainment vocally.
That's insane.
So
Wow.
put myself into like a position where it was something that I knew I always wanted to do. Was stereotypically known as just a singer online, which I
Mm,
enjoyed and was fun for a few years, but it'd always been something that I just always wanted to take that bit further. So that step to Cyprus was something I pushed myself into doing, put me in a job, and then yeah, that's where I spent the pretty much remainder of 2018, and then took
absolutely, yeah.
my step home back to the UK just to develop myself as a bit more of a solo artist. The UK is obviously a strong music scene, so decided this is the place then that I obviously wanted to be to bring myself a bit further into singing
Mm.
as an artist myself.
Cool. I really love, sorry, I'm just noticing it, the way you say artist, artist. I don't even know how to do it.
Artist, yeah.
Yeah,
Classic,
I
classic
just
one.
love talking to different accents. It's amazing. It's just so different. Well, Karma, so let us know. So is there a funny fact about yourself that people, your followers don't know about you?
I don't know how funny it is, but probably like how confident people think that I seem just because I do this. A lot of people think that I've got a lot, and I have. There's people at home, friends at home in West Wales that know fully well that I am a confident, energetic person on a night out. But
Yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of music, I'm still very new to it all. Still something that I've just started. So it's the persona I give off. People think is a very confident artist, but into myself is it's no. It's still something that I before every gig that I do, I'm still there's still nerves, but it's good to have nerves because it shows you still care, obviously, and it's important to be nervous for a gig. But it's like a crippling anxiety before every performance. Still, even after performing probably like over 200 times now, it's still very
Of course, of course. Well, I think like with any kind of performances, if you don't have that anxiety, it kind of shows
Of course.
you care about the performance, right? It shows you want to do your
Yeah,
best.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and even putting yourself out on social media, you always want to try to do your best. So I completely
Yeah.
understand. Every time I'm making a post, I'm like, oh, will people like it? Is this really helping people? It is about just putting yourself out there, though.
Definitely, of
I think
course.
it's
And
more
there's
of an
some,
act of courage. Yeah.
I wish people would just take that jump as well. There's so many like incredible artists around, just not even just in my corner of Wales. Like honestly, the talent is phenomenal, and stereotypically Welsh people are known as like a singing nation. It is like pretty much to the UK,
Oh,
what definitely. And honestly, around me there are so many talented people just in my hometown, which has like a population of around 7,000. There's so many people with incredible voices, and so many people that don't show their voice. And I think a lot more people should. Honestly, that first push is really embarrassing for some people, but it's like it's something that I'm glad that I did so many years ago, and actually pushed myself to post videos online. I'm
yeah,
glad that happened.
absolutely. Well, let's kind of jump to your music then.
Yeah, sure.
Where did you kind of start off? So you said you started singing as a kid. What was that kind of
Yeah.
journey? Yeah, until like
Um,
you started, okay, posting up covers.
so originally it was obviously just something that my family knew I enjoyed. Had a piano at my nan's house where I'd spent a lot of time growing up and couldn't play the piano. Just was always
Mm.
intrigued by it. My auntie was musical. I did performing arts, etc. And my dad sung at a young age. Nothing, to be of recognition, but was known in the towns for singing, etc. Wherever he went, he would sing. There was
Yeah,
both sides of my family had a musical. I had that like piece of it in me. So it was kind of something that was in my nature. And from a young age, family would say that I paid like detailed interest to songs that I shouldn't have. Like, there's always
what
a story I
do you
use
mean by
that.
that?
So my auntie said apparently when I was literally, she said hadn't been speaking more than like a year, and an artist came on the radio. I don't know if you know her name's Blondie, an old song.
Yes.
But there was two songs that she'd had probably that would be most known to people, and I'd recognized the voice around 3 years old. I said, "Oh, is that Blondie that sings so and so such a song?" And like, I remember everybody in the room was like, I could tell by the voice, and then people like my
So
family were noticing at
what?
that age that I had like that I recognized it. They were kind of like, oh, okay, he's still in a nappy, but he knows his music. Like, do you know what I mean? Um, so like from a young age, my family were always really supportive of my music, and I mean like really supportive. Then growing up through the younger ages in school, I didn't do anything musical. I've never had any musical lessons in terms of instruments,
Okay.
anything. Didn't take music as a GCSE, which is like our SATs, etc. No like education in school.
Yes.
No further education in music or drama performing. It was just something that genuinely was a bedroom hobby.
You're
But
right. Right.
as I was going through, my dad could see that I had this great interest for it. Was paying so much attention to like buying CDs, etc. Constantly listening to music, and it went more from him just buying me a set of headphones to look, you should be learning to play the piano. You've got your piano in your hands. So I did sit down eventually. I thought about lessons for a while, but
Yeah.
I was just happy with it being a hobby. I just really was happy with me playing it when I wanted to. I didn't want to be, forced into playing it. I remember the first song I ever learned on the piano, taught myself, was Yankee Doodle. Like
Yes. Yeah.
it just made sense. It was a one right hand piece, and I just got the chords of that just from playing it over and over my head. Developed to then, using three finger chords, etc. And working out chord progressions from there. Once
Yeah.
I'd nailed
Yeah.
down the stereotypical four pattern chord, that's when I started singing with the piano. Showed it to my dad one
Oh.
weekend. We went for food in a restaurant, and there was a piano there, so I played it, and my dad was like, "Holy, like, where's this come from?" Like, I didn't even know you had an interest in playing the piano. So I should
You
explain
can
as well.
play the piano?
My parents are divorced, so I've got one of my father lives like 50 miles away from my mother. So it was always like
Cool. Cool.
what I
Cool.
was doing in the
Yeah.
week. I was with my mother through the week and then my father on the weekends. So when I was with my dad, I
Ah.
could show him. So it was like, they'd see me now and again, but it was like I'd learn something of my dad, and then
Yeah.
I'd take it home to show my mum, which was it was pretty sick, to be honest. Some of the boys in the chat there, thanks to everybody that's come over from my following, Ginger, Jamie, and Sean especially.
Yeah, you're getting quite a bit of love, Karma, which is
I'm
amazing.
enjoying it. So yeah, so that was how it really started. Playing just an instrument through boredom, I guess. I'd spend a weekday if we ever had school holidays. It was the piano where I
Yeah.
started. My dad was obviously instantly impressed and a proud father, as any father would be. And then that Christmas was like, right, he was like, I'm buying you a keyboard. So he bought me a keyboard, just a Yamaha
What
keyboard, which I
keyboard
still
did you
have.
get? Yamaha.
A Yamaha, yeah. So, a good make to be starting with, but then again, didn't buy top of the range. It was always sensible. It was like he could just put this down in a month. But I think it was very obvious from the early onset that I was like going to be pursue, and this is something that I enjoyed to do. So carried on,
Yeah.
just in my room, teaching myself. Like I said, never had lessons with piano.
What age were you then? Like, what
At
what
this
age are we
age
talking
now,
about?
so year 9 in school. So in the UK,
Oh,
that's
okay.
roughly 13, 14. It's
So still
about.
quite young.
Oh, you
Wow. Okay.
definitely, yeah, just literally at the start of my teens, like that was where
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
interest really, really, it was like, okay, I want to be doing this. It was always like I say,
Yeah. Yeah.
singing in the car from a young age with my like terribly whiny little voice. How your voice takes that like change as well, which is
That puberty change. Yeah. It's
of
crazy.
course, yeah. So finding my own voice through that time. But on the piano, then just in my bedroom, I was given like pieces of sheet music and stuff with the piano, which came as like one of the books
Mm.
back with the old Yamahas. Obviously made no sense to me, and I still to this day cannot read music. So start with the piano, went off, played songs that I would, I'd, I'd learned the chords. My auntie had told me what each key
Mm.
was. Turned that into finding chords for myself. I just found over time that by pressing 3 chords, as much as I tried it, they would start to sound right. And slowly to this day, I've learned what those chords are actually named. But yeah,
Yeah.
for me in my head now, I just know. I think I've learned it in a really different way to most people learn it. So it really started with that, and again
Yeah.
carried on with that being my early like sight of music. And then I thought, okay, yeah, I'm comfortable level with this now. My dad would show me off then, like if we had ever go to like a function at like a club. My uncle used to run a rugby club, so we'd go there, and they had a piano there. Sometimes I'd get on there and show people a couple of songs that I'd
Like
learned,
just nudge you
etc.
onto the stage.
Yeah, and I mean nudge, like a big nudge. There was no way I
It's
was
like, come
performing in
on,
front of people,
go.
but like genuinely, like they would like,
Uh,
come on, I'll buy you a drink, I'll buy you some chocolate. I'll be like, oh, no, I can't do this.
that's
Um,
amazing. Yeah.
would genuinely go on, start with the piano, and then I think it was about a year later decided that I wanted to like guitar as well. I was like, I want to try guitar. So I tried playing my cousin's guitar, and literally, I won't go into the detail, but the exact same thing. That Christmas, my dad was like, right, uh, bought me a cheap guitar from Argos. We have over here, it's just basically a wholesale store. It was an
Yeah. Yeah.
Elevation, not a branded one that people really use. I think it was called Elevation guitar. Same story. It was a plug-in, so electric. About a year carried on, got the same interest, taught myself
Yeah.
chords on the guitar, which I found surprisingly easier, but not as enjoyable as piano. Still to this day,
Fair
piano is my
enough.
favorite instrument. So yeah, it was
Over
really
the
just.
voice.
Oh no, 100%. There's I
100% the
do.
voice.
Oh, I absolutely, yes, I adore singing. I can't really explain enough how much like living with me must be an absolute nightmare for everyone that I lived with through uni. Constant singing for the 3 years I was in university, for sure. It was yeah, a long process of
Yeah, I
finding my
can
voice,
completely empathize.
finding. Definitely, but
Yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
a really good journey so far. So yeah, it's all started from a younger age. I should also mention back prior to that story, like I said, my dad always had that inspiration for me to sing. I knew one day he wanted me to live a life of music that he wasn't able to. So that's what, like, nowadays it's like sort of doing it. My dad was probably in a similar situation, but didn't really have the confidence. I don't know where I found the confidence from over time, but it's really like now such a big thing for me to be able to sing. So like my dad can see me doing
Mm.
things that he'd always wanted to.
Well, it also sounds like you have been constantly putting yourself out there because I think confidence kind of comes from competence. So like putting
Hmm.
yourself out there, especially
Definitely.
when you mentioned, okay, your uncles, your father would just nudge you onto stage. That's not something
Hmm.
that's easy for like a 13, 14-year-old.
No,
Uh,
definitely, and it was never like a pushy parent. They'd never be like, "Come on, you have to do it." It was always
yeah,
in my cup. But he just knew how much that when I got up there, I absolutely loved it. Do you know what I mean? I was
yes,
I was in my element. I'd spent my whole time growing up watching the likes of, like, now in the last few years, everybody knows of it. But when I was 8 years old watching Live Aid, nobody knew
yeah,
Freddie Mercury's performance at Live Aid when we were 8 years old, when I was 8 years old. I'm 23 now. And that was
right,
something
okay,
I grew up watching, obviously in the lights of Bohemian Rhapsody, the new film now with Rami Malek.
yes,
The film
yes,
has been brought to light, and that whole performance has been brought to a different light. I was watching that on YouTube when it had roughly 900,000 views. I watched it this morning, as I do most days, because he's, for me, the inspiration, the greatest has ever lived. Has 229 million views. So that
okay,
film has really done a lot for that. But watching frontmen, singers, performers is, yeah, that is something I've always seen and just thought to myself, this is exactly what I want to be doing. I've got a different kind of energy when I'm on the stage, and I just love showing it off. It really is the best feeling in the world.
absolutely, yeah. So would you say, in terms of like your biggest inspiration, would that be Freddie Mercury then,
100% Freddie
or
Mercury, yeah. As in terms of performer, people that have helped me just in, obviously, because I do write, we'll come on to that a bit further, I suppose, but as in songwriting, you have different inspirations for what you want to be doing. There's people that I just see as an artist, as like a persona, and I think, that is exactly
yeah,
how I
yeah,
want to be in that perspective. There's also people how I want to be when I'm on stage. You've got your likes of Freddie Mercury in most recent years, Matt Healy, how he's become on stage the lead singer of 1975.
yeah,
He's on his most recent tour, which I saw in January. I'm lucky enough to be seeing again in the summer at Reading Festival.
yeah, yeah.
His energy on stage now. He's really, like, this is the most recent album, Brief Inquiry onto Online Relationships. He's like really found his sound. And watching him, you can see how comfortable he is compared to what he was doing in his earlier stuff. Just performance, his energy now is just absolutely awesome. But yeah, I'd say probably Freddie Mercury, 100%. If I had to pick an idol for performing, it would be Freddie Mercury, 100%.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. Cool.
Sure.
I'm just going to pause right here for a sec. We're
No
getting
problems.
quite a bit of comments coming in, and I've actually
Awesome.
got some questions submitted through. So if anyone
That's
has any
fine.
questions for Karma or me, just you can actually put it in the question section, and
Of
then
course,
we'll
drop them in.
touch upon it before we wrap off. Yeah, so drop them in.
Awesome.
But awesome. So Freddie Mercury and all these other artists. So
Yeah,
I guess a lot of them have kind of helped you find your own sound. And you mentioned that there was this period where you had to go find
yeah,
your own sound. What was that
of
process
course.
kind of like?
Yeah, early inspired by the likes of, like I say, yeah, in terms of my own sound, I've never been comfortable. I still don't feel like I am comfortable in what I want to be. For
Right.
me, it would be a lead singer or a frontman of an indie band. The songs I write
Mm.
are not on that basis. They are inspired by, I'd really have to say, I'm not sure if you're sure of a artist called Newton Faulkner. Came out years ago. Had a
I'm not
really famous
familiar.
song called "Dream Catch Me." Did well in the UK. Was again one of
Right.
those acoustic artists. Um, that was an early inspiration. Sort of like your early before Ed Sheeran, who obviously everybody
Right.
will know
Right.
now, and that's just it. When you play guitar and you write songs, like when you start off just singing in clubs and stuff, everybody's like,
Mm.
"Oh, you like Ed Sheeran? Why? Because I play the guitar and sing." Like, and that's the name that Ed Sheeran has made for himself now. Like everybody falls under the category of Ed Sheeran.
And everyone's singing perfect.
So yeah, it would be
Yeah.
impossible to say that Ed Sheeran didn't help me in some form of way, as in writing songs, as in an inspiration,
Yeah.
because he really took that songwriting level to being the main focus of the world. But
Mm, mm,
early
mm.
days, like listening to music, yeah, finding my sound is always hard to explain to people. It's been influenced by many, many different people. Daniel Merriweather, who I'm sure you'll know of, is from Your Side of the Water,
Mhm.
that sung Red years ago. There's the likes of Adam Levine and Maroon 5 back in their first album, She Will Be Loved, which is
Yeah, I
still one of
definitely.
my.
By the way, your cover of "She Will Be Love" was amazing.
Thank you so much.
You do have that kind of timbre to your voice.
I
Um,
think that's what it is, and
that
and what people notice, just a quick, I'll say, is from when I've performed, people
yeah.
have said that my my voice sort of changes into like that's how, like, for me, when people say, oh, any tips on singing, obviously I haven't got any advice to give, I'm not qualified to, but for me it's always been, I imitate the artist. When I sing their song, I
Mm.
will try and imitate the artist, and that's perhaps maybe how my voice has grown to become slightly better over the years. Is because I really, really study. Like, I listen to their breathing, their techniques, emphasis they put on certain words. Lewis Capaldi, now obviously blowing up in the UK at the moment. So he's Scottish, so he's got a different twang to his accent. And there are times when I do covers of his. It's just the certain ways that he says words to the intro of his song. So in
Mm.
Someone You Loved, which is his biggest song by far at the moment, he says the word "I am going under," but he doesn't say it like that. He says "om," and certain things like that.
Yeah.
"I'm going," like, do you know what I mean? It's certain things like that. People are
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
it catches you straight from the off. And to a lot of people, that just goes straight over their head. But for me, it's all about impersonating that artist, and giving the best, display vocal rendition of that person as I can. That's kind of how I
Exactly,
see
yeah.
it.
It's just crazy. Like, I think maybe purely from accent as well. When you
Mhm.
have different artists singing different songs, just
Yeah.
their accent can put such a different spin.
Oh, 100%.
It's amazing.
The right
Yeah,
accent and perfect tone. That, yeah, it's a key artist for sure. Definitely.
yeah. Because I can say personally for me, because
Hmm.
I've got more of an Australian accent, a
Hmm.
lot of the ways I pronounce things are quite lazy. Like,
Right.
oh, cheers, mate. But when you apply that to singing, it's really not a accent that you want to sing with.
I can
Yeah.
see what you mean,
So
but like, not from Australian, obviously, but in the terms of a British accent, like, there is no such thing as a British accent. There's a stereotypical British accent which people think is like posh and tea, but I'm British, and
yeah,
then
yeah, posh and
there's
tea.
you listen to a Scottish, they're British, although they don't appreciate being called British. We've there are so many different accents, and I just feel as like that stereotypical UK accent, how we should say. Yeah, there's so many different ones. Like, there's different genres of music, like specifically grime, which is a very big genre in the UK at the moment. In the ends of
What is
London,
grime?
Manchester, grime is sort of, how do I explain it? I'm gonna get roasted for this. It's between, it's sort of a dry sense of rap to between like garage music, hip hop, a mix in
Yes.
between. There's an artist now in the UK that's really big. Stormzy is, he's starting to go
Oh,
outside
okay.
of the UK. We'll be touring around, and it is like a UK rap scene, which is massive. But they completely, all from London is the biggest for it. But like I say, Manchester and Birmingham are also big. Their accents are 100% in the song, and that is something that
Right.
I've noticed as well, is that they keep it in there. If I was to ever try and keep my accent or my normal voice in the song, it just sounds so weird. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
genuinely like, it's something 100%
Yeah.
for me. For me, when you sing, I don't want to be able to hear my accent. So it is, yeah, definitely something I take out unintentionally,
Yeah.
but yeah, it just doesn't exist when I sing. I don't hope it does anyway.
Exactly. A quick question. Sorry, we got a quick question from Lisa. Guys,
Yeah,
are you answering questions? Yes, we are. I've
of
got one more
course.
question, and then we'll jump into it right after that. And
Yeah,
then I'll finish
no
up with
problems.
my final three questions. So,
No,
cool.
that's fine.
Last question from me, Karma.
Yeah.
Um, do you think singing is a talent or a skill? What is your take on
This
that?
this this is really hard because obviously I am a singer these days. I think, I hate to disappoint. I feel like, from experience of meeting people, I think it was 100% something that is born in you. I don't believe I believe teaching
Mm,
rhythm, because I feel like rhythm is the key. Uh, and I feel like that is something that comes in your blood. However, it's very, very obvious from nowadays. Some of the people, this is going to offend a lot of people, and don't get me
mm.
wrong. One Direction were, whatever the girls want to say, they were they were amazing. They were fantastic. They were cute. They were great when they were on the X Factor. But I'm telling you now,
Yeah,
if you listen to their first auditions, and Zayn Malik 100% the most impressive, and Harry Styles, I would say
exactly.
also,
It's
that
amazing.
in
Yeah.
terms of their solo careers, they have absolutely phenomenal voices these days. Their first auditions, Zayn's first audition was, no offense, pathetic. I genuinely remember
Oh,
watching his rendition. I think it was Mario, Let Me Love You.
Yes.
And I was just listening to it, and the whole time I could just hear this flatness in the corner of his voice, and it was just like push through, and he didn't for the whole thing. But he was young. Obviously, the judges thought, oh, this guy's like 16. The girls are going to like him. With the money they were given then from after signing away from Psycho Records with Simon Cowell, just obviously were given the best vocal coach in the world. And I feel like you've got to have some form of rhythm and talent, but I do believe that skills can be taught, talent cannot be taught, but a skill can be taught. So if you have the energy and the urge to want to be good enough with the correct vocal coaching, you can make the top, yes. But I don't believe that you can polish a turd, is what the British people would say. Do you know what I mean? But I think
Cool.
that
Yeah.
if you have a lot of the time, I think it's just about believing in yourself. If you've got the aspiration and the ability to teach yourself something with a vocal coach, you know, if you are eager enough, you can definitely fathom putting yourself together.
Yeah. So,
So
like,
yeah,
I definitely I can agree with that. But for me personally, I think talent for me just means where do you start off on the singing journey. Talent
100%.
might
Yeah,
mean
yeah, yeah.
you're a bit more ahead, and it also
Yeah,
depends where you want to go to. So obviously,
of
for a lot of
course,
the students I work
yeah,
with,
definitely.
yeah, a lot of the singers I work with, it's just about really improving in the bedroom, being a bedroom singer, or sometimes even just making a
Hmm.
small stage. Polish your turd. Did I hear that right?
Hmm.
That's a great
Yeah, that
term.
is the
Yeah.
that is the reference I'd have to use. But no, definitely, and we've all got, like I say, I should have thought that. Speaking in my self preference, there is, you know, there's a lot of people think, oh, I make it the big time. I do want to make it big time. I'd love to be signed, and I'd love to have a full management team, full A&R team, and be able to promo. I don't want to be on the fact of selling out Wembley Arena, although that looks amazing. It looked amazing when Freddie Mercury did it 3 years running or
Mm.
whatever he did. But for me, that level of fame isn't. It's a bit much for me personally. I'd like to still be able to go shopping and go shopping. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to. I
Absolutely,
think
yeah.
1,000 people singing my songs back to me would be absolute perfection. If I could keep that for the rest of my life, then I'd be very, very happy.
Absolutely. And I think you're doing like everything right. You're still quite young, 23 years old. You're putting yourself out there on social media. I think one people don't, I think
Yeah, man.
nowadays it's a bit different. Before it's previously, okay, you need these kind of big media companies to back you up. But with
Hmm.
social media, a lot of these kind of technologies now, it's quite easy to go do things a bit more solo,
Yeah,
finish things a bit on your
definitely.
own as well.
Of
Yeah.
course,
Cool.
for sure.
Awesome. Well, let's quickly get to the questions. We've got quite a
Yeah,
few,
let's read it
a
quickly.
lot from Jong Hui, I believe. So, first question for you, Karma. What
Yeah,
is your biggest fear when you're looking at your audience?
my biggest fear. I know that people would just be expecting me to say something boring, like that you'll forget the words, that that something will go wrong. A quote, like I know I'm going on about him a lot, but there was a quote that I heard in the Bohemian Rhapsody movie that came out,
Mm,
and it's after he's performed "Love of My Life" on Rio de Janeiro beach, which Freddie did in 1970, I think, or something, late 1970s, in front of something crazy like 1.3 million people. And
yeah, yeah.
he says, honestly, when I've really got them, when they're all listening and singing that song, I couldn't sing a key wrong if I tried. And I think that is like such a true
Mm,
feeling of being a stage performer. When you're out there, it completely 100%. When I get on the stage, I would have to say I am fearless, because if I can grab them with that first song, and my first song, which any set I ever do, is Benny King's "Stand By Me." It was the first song that I ever sung on a
mm,
stage, and I'm just superstitious. So every set I've ever done, just anything
mm,
busking, singing anywhere, is always "Stand By
mm.
Me" by Benny King, the first song, and that is sort of like
Nice.
my good luck start to it. So it is a great song. People can either sing to it, they can dance to it. I've had people slow dance. I sing it at weddings. It's a great song that I can do in like different sets, even if it's a people pleasing set, or if it's a wedding, if it's a heart loving, everything. It fits perfect into
Yeah,
all sort of form of sets. So that is my song to grab them. And from there out, judging by the performance, I'll just go with it. I am genuinely fearless when I get up there. So I cannot say I do have a fear when I'm on stage. There's always times where, you know, the lighting will come off or the lighting will go on too quick, and you just think, okay, what's going on? But you've got to be able to learn to roll with stuff like that. I've had times where I've been singing on stage and we've had power outages at somebody's wedding.
Wow. Okay.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Do you know what I mean? In front of 200 people, and you're just thinking to yourself, like, okay, it's not out of my hands. The people know it's not in your hands. We'll stop and we'll
Yes.
go
Yeah.
again. My first ever gig that I did in the UK, the computer that I was running it from just kept crashing, shuddering. It was really, really, really,
Nice.
really embarrassing. Speakers kept cutting out after every song. I was
Oh
singing
no.
Prince, Purple Rain, Prince. As it went to go for the big falsetto at the end, it just lost all power. And I'd already started the note, so I just ran out the rest of the song a cappella. And I just kind of looked around as if to be like, why is my sound system packed up? Um, things
Yeah.
will go wrong on stage, of course, and that is part of doing live
Absolutely. Yeah.
streams. Things will definitely go wrong.
What?
But don't take fear to the stage. If you're still scared when you get out on the stage, then you're doing it wrong. You need to leave
Mm.
everything before you step onto that stage. 100%.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think also it is a mindset thing because for me, it's always about serving other people. And
Of
likewise, when
course.
you're performing, you're there to make people feel something for their
Yeah,
service.
definitely. Yeah.
So
You're supplying a
I
service.
think
Yeah.
when you shift to that, yeah, when you shift to that mentality instead of going, oh, uh, like, am I doing okay? What am I doing? Instead of what am I doing? What am I doing for them? That kind of puts you more in a fearless state to begin with as
Definitely.
well. Cool.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
let's jump on to
100%.
the next one very quickly. I might have to skip a few
No
because
problem.
just in the interest of time. Biggest
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine.
2020 goal with your career?
Um, so it's kind of hard like, where we sit now with my time schedule of things I have coming up in the future of
Yes.
what targets I want to be hitting with 2020. Realistically, now I've been in the industry for 2 years professionally. I can see that things move slower than people think. A lot of people think, oh, I sing in my bedroom, I post covers online. One of them got 10,000 views. Why have I not signed to a label?
Yeah.
It's a matter of what you do for yourself, and that is something I've learned over the last 6 months, especially. Um, so I can't, it'd be hard to put like just a finger point 2020. I can tell you what I have planned for the next to a stage of 2020. So over the next few months now, I'm currently in the middle of writing my first official EP, which will be released on
Nice.
all
Nice.
forms independently. So that is sort of a long process. People just think, oh, an EP is 3 songs, write your 3 songs, get them recorded in a long weekend, and then you'll be all ready to
And
go.
you're done.
It can be that quick, but I'm someone that really cares about it. I've been doing this now, singing for myself and writing for 6 years seriously, and I'm yet
Yeah,
to release
exactly.
anything online because I want to have such a choice. The likes of Justin Bieber when he wrote his new album Purpose, who again I am a big fan of and have from a young age watching
Mm.
somebody take the spotlight. For the album Purpose, he wrote 215 songs that then became a 13-song album. So it really shows, there's
You can
200
choose,
Justin
yeah,
Bieber
you can choose.
200 Justin Bieber songs that you're never going to hear, never will hear. Um, I'm not saying I'm writing 200. I have 30 songs. I have 30 songs. And
Mm.
3 will make the EP. I'm start of finding my path of what now, but it's hard when you sit down on the piano and all of a sudden
Mm.
another song comes to you and you're like, damn, is this better than the last 3? I really want it to be that competitive, to be the best 3 songs I can write on this EP. My first impression, my first EP has to just give people such an interest into my music and what I'm capable of. So that's my
Yeah.
long-term path is I do need to set myself a date. I'd probably say middle of summer, end of summer, just before my schedule gets really busy. The songs will be decided, then recorded
Yes.
into the finale of 2019 with 1 song release from that album on all social platforms, music platforms before Christmas. We're talking early March 2020.
Mm.
My EP will be dropping, which I'm very
Well,
excited about, of
I'm
course.
keen. I'm so keen for that.
I'm very
Yeah.
excited myself, nervous, but again, it's because I care.
Yeah, because
And
I absolutely love your voice, and I wanted to
thank you,
like
man.
just hear more and more originals. That
Yeah,
is
I
what
think
I
that's a lot of
love.
people have got to that stage now. They're kind of like, right, okay, we know you can sing now, Kamo. Please just tell us what can you do yourself as an artist? And it is,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna start dropping teasers for sure. For songs that I know won't make the EP, but I feel like have got potential, I might start dropping these over the summer months now. Summer here, obviously,
Mm. Mm.
obviously Australia close approaching winter. But yeah, for the British summer now, I will be releasing some. I do like to drop them, but it's just it's one of the hardest choices of my life deciding what I want people to hear. I want them to hear them all, but realize that I've got to be very careful and handpick the best. So yeah,
The
for
best,
2020
exactly.
is my EP to release, and then through 2020 summer, ideally with that release going well in March, for that to be scouted by A&R teams. So I don't currently have management, so I am
Mm.
in the middle of management talks, which would be amazing. Not a label
Absolutely.
talks, because a lot of people don't understand the difference. That is not me being signed to a record label. A management is completely different. Like, I already have an agent
Mm.
who I can see
Mm.
just commented there. Reese TDD, that is currently my representative agent there,
Ah,
joined in
okay.
the chat, bigging me up in the chat. So he deals with everything for me at the moment, and he's an absolute star. So it's nice having some form of team, but
Amazing,
I just
yeah.
want a team that would expand, a team that I could take further afield with me, and yeah, realistically, to establish myself as a fully blown artist, to know to myself that I will never have to. It is working, but honestly, when you stand on a stage and make 300 people smile for an hour and a half, you forget that you're
Mm.
working. So that is kind of, what I want to be, just 100% establish myself as a musical
Exactly.
artist. That is my 2020 goal. I really long-winded that, but yeah, that is my 2020 goal, is to establish myself fully as an artist, because I'm just a social media singer at the moment, and people forget that. They see that I've got a fast rising following, which is great, and I appreciate all my
Mm.
followers so much, and
Mhm.
for the engagement is crazy. Like, my engagement on my page, I could not be prouder of. But I just sing online at the moment. I do gigs, and they're cool, but I'm nowhere near the level I want to be, and I really want my followers to understand that too. I am not some form of like icon to be looking up to yet. I haven't earned I haven't earned that place. There's so many people online with 500 followers. Mean nothing. If Instagram was deleted tomorrow, what would I be doing? I'd just be singing in
Yeah,
pubs and clubs again. So you really have to understand there's a lot of people out there with only 1,000 followers or 500 followers that are so well established in the musical industry, and that's exactly what I
exactly.
want to be doing. Mhm.
Cool.
That's
Well,
yeah.
that definitely sounds cool. Yeah. Just, I mean, it's a matter of, it's a journey. So it's always a journey.
Of
And I
course,
think
and it's going to be a long
patience,
one.
the love of the work. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I completely empathize. I know
It's
exactly how
exciting.
that feels.
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely.
Last question. We got
Okay.
one from Lisa, and I really want to plug it in. So
Okay.
she's a singer who's, I guess, starting off in the UK. Is there
Okay.
any advice you can give for, I guess, people who are starting off?
Um, if you so yeah, I'm like, as I say, only sort of approaching. I'm not even 2 years. I say 2 years in the industry. This is actually now starting into my second year, because I started last February. So technically, I'm not 2 years deep. I'm going into my second year. So it is still new for me. But in
Mm,
that
mm.
time, obviously, has been, well, the last 4 months has been such a rapid growth since starting on social media. So my first thing to Lisa would say,
Yes.
start social media. It's a perfect platform for anyone to make a career for themselves nowadays. It might just start as a couple of followers. People won't take you seriously. Friends, family will think, like, I know that my family don't understand what I'm doing when I'm setting up my lighting and I'm posting my phone and I've got my microphone. My mum's like, "Are you doing a gig in your room tonight?" And I'm like, "No, I'm going to record a cover and then I'm going to post it online." And 3 days later, she's like, "Oh, did you post the video? How did that go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it went really well." She went, "Oh, good." And she went, "Wouldn't you be rather doing that on a stage?" I'm like, "Well, I would, mum, but 70,000 people saw that video the other day, and
That's insane.
only 200 people come to my gigs. So do you know what I mean? You need to really put yourself out there, Lisa, and really, really push for social media. That's the perfect way to start. Obviously, I don't know your situation and where you stand vocally. Like I say, maybe if you feel, obviously, I know something that you do yourself with vocal coaching, like you mentioned earlier. If you are just a bedroom singer and you want to take your step further, maybe
Mm.
consider a vocal coach if that's something you are serious about. If you do want to make it, if you feel in yourself that you want your voice to be better, then maybe that is something you could consider. But realistically, And I think this is something that people might not do. A lot of people are ready for people to hear their voices, but don't spend much time listening to other people's voices. For me, it is 100% about how much music I listen to before I go out there and put my voice back out. So for me, the biggest thing, and I say to everyone, is have you got any advice? I constantly 5 to 10 DMs every single day. Hey, I'm a singer. Have you got any advice for me for starting out? I say social media, and this one just sounds like such a stupid thing, but honestly, soul music is something I listen to on a daily basis. Soul singers from the 50s, 60s, I can't even describe the level of talent that exists in those voices. And genuinely, that is what I spend a lot of time listening to, is early soul music. Oh wow! From your classics like Sam Cooke and etc. From literally that genre.
Sam Cooke, yes.
Do you know what I mean? That is really
He's amazing.
like up to James, but like talent does not come through as quick as it did back then. So honestly, listening to soul music, and I don't just mean playing it and then just like sitting there on your phone. I mean like listen to what those people are doing with their voice, imitate it. Like I said earlier, I always try and imitate an artist, and it's painful to listen to me trying to imitate such a black talented voice, and I'm sure people wouldn't mind me saying that, because there's so much talent in those voices. It's something that a skinny white boy from Wales can't do for himself with that actual, like, that's why it's called soul music, because there's so much soul in their voices. That, the levels of vibrato that you can pull off from that is just unbelievable. The transitions from chest to head, it's everything. They've got it all. And I really feel, in terms of range, if you study someone like a really talented Wilson Pickett, whoever you want, a talented soul artist, that's what I could say. For developing your voice, it would be listening to soul music, or consider someone like yourself a vocal coach. And definitely, why not? Because this guy knows his stuff. And then in terms of putting yourself out there further than social media, just start off with looking in local newspapers. There's pages on Facebook that I know in my area that post around. We have events coming up. Sometimes there's charity events. I've got charity events coming up over the next couple of months now. You just try and get yourself out there. Put a small set list together. Don't be expecting to do, like, I do an hour and a half as my standard set now. Don't be expecting to walk out there with 15, 18 songs and just run with it. You need to start off small. Find your genre that suits your voice. It doesn't have to be a genre. Just find a tone that suits your voice and pick 4 songs from that level. If there's a local charity event, any open mic nights, anything that you can really just get some form of stage presence from, that would be perfect. Or how if people are just singing a song in a pub, or just stand, or a club, just stand up and sing with them, and you'll fall in love with it more and more. In terms of like management and getting signed, realistically, there's no advice that can be given from that, because if I knew that advice, then I would be signed. Like, so who am I to? I really can't help you in terms of getting signed as an artist, or management. And it's all well and good messaging bigger pages and etc. I have people much bigger than me. There's a few boys in the UK that busk who are absolutely amazing, but I know that asking them for advice, they're doing their thing, and everybody's got to do their thing. I'm always glad to help people, always happy to give as much advice as I can, but it always starts with finding it for yourself. And if the people at the top were giving away all of the answers, the industry would be far too competitive. So a lot of it you do need to find.
Absolutely.
You need to find for yourself. You really do. You need to establish yourself as an artist. And it might just not make sense to some people. Hopefully it does in time. But for some people, that really might help them, as in find yourself as an artist. What do you love? And I really mean you've got to love it. Because before I go to bed every single night, I have a whiteboard where I write down my targets for the week. And every day I do 5 things, even if it's just small things. Like one of them today was obviously to have this conversation with you, just so I feel like I'm achieving something every single day. I have targets.
Exactly,
in my Instagram following, where I want to be, where I want to be hitting, the levels I want to be at. And so far we're absolutely smashing them. Like my target for June 1st, which is tomorrow, was 7,500 followers, and I think we're
You're way
currently
above
like
that, yeah.
7,800. Like the following growth has been immense. But you've always got to set yourself a target. Like she said earlier, what's your target for 2020? You've got to have something in your mind, because if you're not chasing, if you're just predicting and not running towards a finish line, you can just go for a run outside and that's great. But if you run a marathon,
Yeah.
you're running for something. You're running to the finish line, and it's much more rewarding running a marathon than it is just running 26 miles outside. Do you know what I mean? If you actually have an
Exactly, yeah.
if you have an end goal, then you can achieve it. And I think that's what it is setting yourself realistic targets. Like some of mine are stupid, but I have achieved them. Like there was a time where I said, I think I was at 2,200 followers back in February. Genuinely has
Yes.
blown up that quick. And I said that I wanted 5,000 by, I think it was like April or something, or the 1st of May, which at the time was like, right, am I really going to get 2,500 followers in that month? And that, when I spoke to my agent, we were like, this is probably a bit too far-fetched, but we made it and we smashed it by about 300. And the reason that we did that is, as people say to me, and the social media manager will say to me, is because the content, you just non-stop with your content. I was uploading covers every week, and I was like, the demographics and the engagement of people that are going to see me in this time period, there is no way that, like, I only need 1 in 10 people to click follow on my page and I will achieve it. And I really, really do break it down. Like, I analyze all of my growth to percentage points. Like, I mean, really, really analyze my growth. But that's
Nice, that's good on you.
It's my job, and I'm self-employed, so it's just, whereas a manager has to study stocks and shares and companies like Walmart and the biggest shops in the world, they have to study their ins and outs and their takes and their losses, and you have to do that for yourself.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I care enough to do it. It's not a task. Like I say, I never feel like I'm working. I just really care that I'm doing what I want to do. And like I said, people won't always take it seriously, and that doesn't bother me. I really, really want to do what I want to do, and yeah, I'm so determined. It's just determination. That is the key word. So your answer to that, in a nutshell, Lisa, is determination. Determination is 100% the key to success. Persistency and determination. You've got to be determined, and you've got to stick at it, because it's such a long process, and that's why very few people make it. Definitely.
I'm absolutely a fan of that. For me, it's always intention plus guided action. So you set your intention for what you want to do, but then you actually need to execute for whatever your goal is.
There's people that have got dreams, and then there's people that have got targets, because you can say, people say to you, oh, what's the dream? And I don't really look at it as a dream, because dream is just like this idea that like floats around your head, but a target is something that you look out to actually hitting. I mean, you want to hit the target. You can dream about something. I dream of it every night, but those aren't my things. Those aren't things I want to fulfill. My target is, I have targets every single day, and it's good to be hitting targets, because then you can put yourself into a positive mindset of knowing, even though they were just small targets, hitting 5 targets every single day, you put yourself onto a winning success mindset. Really, you just really guide yourself along, which is great, which is really, really helpful.
Amazing.
For sure.
Well, okay. Thank you for all that advice.
Before
we wrap up, Karma, let our audience know where they can find you on social media. What would be the best spots?
Of course. So realistically, Instagram is by far something that I'm just pumping all my time and attention into. Is probably why we're growing so quick. So if, as I'm in the top corner, it's at Cameron Williams Music. You can see it in the top left corner now. And yeah, drop me a follow, drop me a message if you've ever got any more advice after this. You want any, just a talking to on where you are. But like I say, it's great that I've been able to answer somebody's questions about it on here, because people don't see my DMs where I'm really trying to give this advice to people every single day.
Yes.
So it's really good that I've been able to speak about it live. So yeah, at Ken Williams Music, same on Facebook again. I have a page on there, which, to a lot of people won't be of much interest, because I like I say, Instagram is where I post the videos and then I share them to Facebook maybe like a few days or a couple of days later. I do have a YouTube, but realistically at the moment, this is probably the best place to find me is on here. So
The
I'm
best
giving all my
platform, yeah.
time. Yeah, 100%. All of my time and attention to this at the moment. And when I feel like I've made enough progress on this, I won't give up on it. I will keep pushing. Then I'll move on to another social media platform and push from there and there. I just really feel that at the moment the algorithms have dropped so much with Facebook over the past few months, and
Mm,
I'm still able to assess the algorithms of Instagram a lot better. In terms of timing
mm,
with my postings, when I'm going to get the best engagement, to increase my
absolutely.
demographic, yeah, target audience really. So yeah, this is the best place to find me. So if, like I say, if anybody's got any questions or does want to drop me a DM after this, I'd be happy to talk to you, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Likewise, if anyone needs any vocal help, just
of
DM me.
course,
I'd
definitely.
love to help you out.
Please, yeah, please go and anybody with any queries, because don't forget, people ask me that as well, and I will always send them to you from this conversation onwards now.
Oh, thank you.
Anyone ever asking me vocal advice, I am not qualified to give any vocal advice. That would be impersonation, and that is fraud. I cannot give legal vocal advice. I can tell you what I do, but that I cannot teach. I have to send you to this guy. He knows what he's doing. So if you ever want tips on how to sing,
Mm,
go to this guy, because yeah, I'm not the guy to be giving vocal advice. I can give
Thank you
you
so much.
advice as an artist. I can give you, as a self-employed musician and performing. Um, but yeah, I'm not qualified to be teaching people about voices. I was just thankfully given this voice, and some people like it, so that means the world. So yeah,
Yeah.
any vocal advice, go to this guy.
Cool. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
You're
I
very,
really
very
appreciate it.
welcome. No, I appreciate it
I'd love to
also.
stay
It's been
connected.
great.
Yeah.
100%. It's been awesome just to
Yeah.
open up about this. These are questions that I answer a lot of time in terms of speaking with brands and management. But they're always written in email format, and I don't think people really
Mm,
get me. Like whenever I speak with like a management firm or etc., they're like, okay, give us a backfeed story, and I've just got it saved in my notes because I say it so much. But I
mm.
can't express the actual urgency and the seriousness of the passion I have without talking like this. And hopefully, yeah,
Yes.
this will come across to people a lot in a lot better format. That I am shows my passion for it a bit more than an email. So it's been nice to really voice it, and I appreciate you having me on. It's an awesome series, and I absolutely love the idea that you've got with this series, episode 3 now. I'm really excited to see the other guests you have. I've watched all the previous ones, so I knew exactly what to expect.
Cool.
I really think Instagram TV. Yeah, I think that's going to blow up soon. There are some big ones on there. I know a lot of like Vine stars from back in the day
Mine's out.
tried
Yeah.
making like short movies and stuff on there, and I think that'll do a lot for it. But I feel like these like sort of documented series, I think this could really be the future of Instagram. So I'm expecting this to blow up one day, and for me to think, hey, I
I
appeared
was
on the
there.
third, I've appeared on the third ever episode of this. Yeah. So no, I think it's
Absolutely. I
awesome.
mean, the series was more just to really show that behind every singer, there is a journey. There are struggles. There are challenges. It's not,
Oh,
oh, I posted a
100%.
cover and he's done like amazing. There is a
No, it's
process.
never that.
Um,
It's not that. It's not that.
yeah,
It's crazy. Yeah, a lot of people think it's just sit down, record yourself singing, post it online. Now, the research I do behind the scenes, which I'll be happy
definitely
to,
not.
if anybody's got any questions about, demographics and Instagram, please do message me. I'd love that stuff I can help with, is in, posting as an artist. Yeah, definitely give me a message on that. But it's so much more than you think. It's not just posting songs online. And that's why I think people undermine the job that I do, because it's just like this guy just sits in his room and sings. But no, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Absolutely. Anyway, I really appreciate your time today.
You're very, yeah,
I
no,
might have to end.
perfect.
We've gone for an hour, which
That's
is
fine. That's
insane.
crazy.
That's
It's
insane.
going to be a
Yeah.
great episode.
Yes. I'll be putting this up on my IGTV. So
Thank you so
anyone who
much, man.
wants to recap this, just check out
Yeah,
our
for sure.
channels.
I'll share it across. We'll get some more people across there. Be perfect.
Cool. Well,
Thank you very
lovely
much,
to meet
man.
you properly. I
Yeah, and
will
you.
hopefully stay connected with you. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely stay in touch after this. It's been great.
Cool. Have a good one.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much, buddy. Peace.
See ya.